Ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, welcome to Virginia, home to not only myself, but also the home of short track racing, and we are at one of the cathedrals to short track racing tonight, Richmond Raceway. Welcome to the North American Specialized 150. Welcome to the Group 6 Cup Series, and welcome to the Doghouse Racing League. Glad to have you all joining here with us tonight for what is sure to be a very exciting and action-packed night of short track racing. As always, my name is Hunter Foley, and I'm up here with my broadcast partner, Jonathan Smith, up here in the booth. We are getting ready to get you down onto the track for all of the action. These drivers are finishing up their practice and getting their qualifying times, getting ready to go. But before that, let's make sure we pay the bills and thank all of our wonderful sponsors. As said before, this is the Group 6 Cup Series, so a special thank you to Group 6 for stepping up and being the series sponsor that is keeping us up here in the booth, keeping these drivers going around the track. Group 6 is a leading creative agency, and they are passionate about crafting cutting-edge websites, developing dynamic web solutions, and providing top-tier managed hosting services. Their mission is to help businesses of all sizes enhance their online presence. Explore their wide range of services at group6inc.com, group6inc.com, and see how they can help drive your digital success. Once again, a special thank you to Group 6 for being the series sponsor this year. We are running the North American Specialized 150 here tonight at Richmond Raceway. So special thank you to North American Specialized for being our race sponsor tonight. North American Specialized is your one-stop shop for all of your freight movement needs. They're an asset-based brokerage with locations in Warren, Michigan, and Laredo, Texas, ready to move your freight big or small. From dry vans to sprinter vans, and even double-drop Conestogas, you name it, they move it. Backed by experience, equipment, and excellence when it comes to freight, North American Specialized delivers. Visit www.naslcorp.com and check them out today. Again, special thank you to North American Specialized for being our race sponsor tonight. Also want to give a special shout out to Shoney's. Doghouse Racing League in the Group 6 Cup Series is very proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Stop by one of their West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar and take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. Thank you again to Shoney's for being a longtime friend and sponsor of the Doghouse Racing League and Group 6 Cup Series. We're also very proud over here to be sponsored by Butt Kicker. If you want to take your racing simulator experience to the next level, be sure to head over to their website at thebuttkicker.com to get the very best in racing haptics. Longtime friend and sponsor of the Doghouse Racing League and the Group 6 Cup Series. If you are looking to take your racing experience to the next level, be sure to check out their website and you will not be sorry. Thank you again to Butt Kicker for being a sponsor of the Doghouse Racing League and Group 6 Cup Series. Once again, we are getting ready to get you over here to this action on the track here in the Group 6 Cup Series for the North American Specialized 150 as we are inching ever closer to playoff season. Every single position is going to matter for these drivers, so it is sure to be a fun night of racing here on an absolutely beautiful night in Richmond. But with that being said, as always, I'm going to go ahead and shut my trap and let my broadcast partner talk to us a little bit about Richmond. John, take it away.
I gotta fix this mic so.
Yeah, there we go. Had to fix the mic really quick, but out here at Richmond, going to be some fun racing. Going to be some slick racing coming off these corners, some deceptive corners also at this track with very wide exits coming out of turn 4, a little bit more narrow in turn 2. Going into turn 1, really got to find that braking zone and hope that you don't run into somebody else or hope they don't run into you as you try to enter turn 1 about as fast as you can, but also saving tires. Turn 3 and 4 I like to compare a lot. Kind of feels a little bit like Phoenix, the way you have to take the corner. You can kind of get out and get on the gas just a little bit earlier. But it's definitely going to be some fun racing here tonight. Excited to see what happens. Got some guys fighting for some points to get to the top. Got some guys fighting for some points to get into the playoffs. So a lot on the line here for a lot of drivers. It should be exciting.
Like you said, a lot on the line here tonight, and it's going to be very interesting to see how everyone kind of negotiates the different strategies you can have here at Richmond. Got 3/4 of a mile here, so definitely not one of the shortest short tracks out there on the circuit, but makes for some very interesting racing, and we're sure to have a lot of different thoughts and feelings going into this thing as far as how you're going to manage those tires, how you're going to avoid the inevitable cautions that are going to come from just racing at a short track. And like you said, we've also got all those points battles. So sure to be a very exciting night for everyone that is tuned in out there. Again, thank you to everyone who is joining here and spending some of your Thursday evening with us. Got 9 people in there right now. Thank you to each and every one of you for joining. Be sure that you like the stream and subscribe so you don't miss a second of the Doghouse Racing League action. And as always, be sure to cheer on your drivers in the comments. I know they love it. We love to read it. As per usual, we've got BMAC in the comments. Gary, you're not alone tonight. Andrew is back. Go Team BMP. Wouldn't be a Group 6 Cup Series broadcast or a Doghouse Racing League broadcast without having a loving comment from BMAC. But John, like I was talking about in the beginning, you know, Virginia, not just where I'm from, but also where a lot of short track racing really kind of came from. 2 of the oldest tracks in NASCAR, not just 2 of the oldest short tracks, are in Virginia, between Martinsville and Richmond. What's kind of some of the big differences that you're going to notice between racing at a place like Martinsville and racing at Richmond?
For one, it's definitely going to be the size of the corners. You can see a lot of these guys. We just saw McMahon, St. Coeur, even Jamie Horne there getting a little loose as they get on the throttle coming to that exit. But I think a very famous driver once said, if you're not scared a little bit, you're not going fast enough. So that's going to be a big thing that you got to see these guys here. The guys out front are going to be the ones pushing it and trying to really throttle out on exit, able to control those cars as they do it, but also maintain that tire as they get through. Another really big thing about Richmond that I've always noticed personally is that your tire wear, you get a percentage on the tires about how much they're wearing, but you don't really lose a lot of percentage at this track, but the tires will heat up and it affects the race car just the same. So that's definitely going to be a strategy these guys have to look at, not just about how much wear is coming off the tire tonight, but how much that tire is expanding. So looking for a lot of pit stop adjustments midway through this race.
100%. And one of the other things that you have to negotiate here tonight, and this is maybe a little bit special to the Group 6 Cup Series, but very low caution rate in this league. I mean, I can count on one hand the amount of times we've been in the broadcast booth for a race that had more than 5 cautions. And normally at a short track, you would expect quite a few yellow flags flying out there, but not only do you have to be concerned about the yellow flags and avoiding the wrecks and avoiding the spins, which are bound to happen, but you've also got to be prepared for a long green flag run at a short track, which is not the world's easiest thing. Like you said, those tires are going to heat up. Everyone's going to be making different adjustments to their cars. So I think we're going to end up seeing, especially as we go kind of later into the 200 laps of this race, I think you're going to notice probably 3 or 4 cars that really start pulling away with this thing. And you're going to see a lot of other people that are just begging for a caution.
Oh yeah, always 2 different camps there. The front guys don't want cautions. The guys in the back praying for cautions. I think this is the famous track where the crew chief was actually telling the driver to spin them not too long ago.
Yep.
Won't name any names. Spin them. I was going to throw the Clint Boyer reference in there, but getting to the end, my arm kind of itches, but I don't think that was... I can't remember that. Was not here, was it?
I think that was at Richmond.
I feel like it was. I'm like, I don't want to sound dumb and like get the wrong track, but I'm blanking right now. But getting out here to qualify, and Jamie Horne sitting on the pole right now. Got a few guys still making their way out to the track. Chris Simon's going to be in 2nd place, but man, with the time fast enough to get him in that top 3. Brandon Trush needing a big run tonight. Does have a chance to make the playoffs, as we'll pull up those points numbers here in just a few seconds after qualifying is over, but he needs a few good runs and he might find himself in the playoffs. For the Group 6 Cup Series, the top 20 will be making the playoffs based off points. Each driver, I believe, I think it's 3 drop races, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 drop races, but so you could see some guys move up in the points as well as those playoffs get closer. especially when they get these drop races. But I mean, there's some guys battling out here tonight. I looked earlier, Marc Dumont was one of those guys. Bill Gentry was one of those guys right there on the border trying to fight for that spot to get in. And I think we have 2 more races before the playoffs start.
Right around the corner, and I could not be more excited, just to be very honest. It's been a really great season here in the Group 6 Cup Series, and been able to kind of see it all come to a head, and all the effort and all the work that these drivers have been putting in, and actually get to see it kind of come down to some playoff racing. It is going to be an exciting time in the broadcast booth up here for the next couple of weeks. But got our drivers finishing up their qualifying times. Jamie Horne, fastest in practice, also the fastest in qualifying, currently sitting on the pole position with a 21.14. Chris Simon currently has the second position. Justin McMahon up there in third place. Still got a little bit of time for these guys to go out and put down a qualifying lap if they want to. We've had 14 people put down a qualifying time so far, leaving us with what appears to be 6 drivers who have not put down a qualifying time. Some of those I do not believe will be putting down a time. Looking at you, 88 of Josh Cully. But also looking at you, Josh Cully, when I say that I expect you to be in the top 5.
Yeah, Cully known for driving to the front. Also got Bill Gentry, has not put down a qualifying time or attempted a lap. Got Daniel Wilkerson here, league admin, on the board tonight. Maybe he's coming. I don't know if he put down a practice time.
He did put down a practice time. Are we about to see the return of Daniel Wilkerson?
The return of the 28, Daniel Wilkerson, league admin. Been out for a few weeks and now he's back. I actually think, now that I'm thinking about it, he told me he might be pulling a starting part tonight to try to maintain his playoff position because he will be back soon. So he might not race tonight. Still dealing with some recovery there. So wishing the best for him, but trying to get that starting part and get some points up. Richard Leclerc also not putting down a qualifying time yet. I think I saw Tony Martin got out there and ran a little bit of a lap and then shut it down. The only person out the track now is Zach Michael, just getting in some practice laps.
We are coming to the end of our qualifying time here. Only 10 seconds left in qualifying. Nobody's going to get around Richmond that quick, so we will have 5 more minutes of warm-up after this, and then we will be getting to the grid up here on the track. Kathy Trush in the comments. Team Trush, number 23, get her done. Brandon, looking like he's going to be taking the 6th qualifying position here tonight, looking for a big run, like John was saying, to try and work his way into the playoffs. And then a new addition to the Group 6 Cup Series, mothers in the comments. Mrs. Phyllis Smith in the comments saying, hello, John.
Yeah, that's my mom. All the moms coming out for the Group 6 Cup Series.
Hi, Mrs. Smith.
Always glad to have some support out here, you know, even when I'm not driving.
Isn't it wonderful? Doesn't it just make you feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside?
Makes me feel like I can't mess up now. But these drivers are getting out here for their warm-up lap. I thought I have some video for you here. And hopefully it's not going to be too loud. We're going to kind of go over this line here at Richmond since it is a little unique here. You can see on the right side of the screen there that braking zone that these drivers have to find, get to usually about the same coming into turn 1. You really want to try to wrap that line around the apron. Pretty narrow of an exit there coming out as you're coming down this back stretch here at Richmond. You're going to want to try to hit a shallow entry, a little bit like Phoenix, and still wrap the line, but you can really go in the throttle early as that turn exits pretty wide there and get on the gas. But the front stretch is going to be almost like an oval shape as you're getting out there to the front stretch. So you got to watch out for that too, because it kind of gets you a little loose as you're going around the front stretch. Definitely a difficult track to drive. Let's see if we can pull up some points so you can see where your favorite driver is currently sitting in the points right now. Right now, about the same at the top 6 with Jamie Horne still leading this thing. Andrew St. Coeur in 2nd. Kevin Thompson in 3. Eric Warman's got that 4th place spot. Just McMahon in 5th place. Gary Clune in 6th. Chris Simon jumping up a spot to that 7th place. Adam Thompson moving down a spot to 8th. Josh Cully moving up a spot to 9th, and Zachary Miller moving up to 10th.
Like you were saying, it's definitely going to be an exciting night out here. Short track racing is always some of my favorite. Jamie Horne been having an incredible season so far, but I know the Shoney's racing team guys have been racing really well here. Expect to see a big night out of them, and then cannot count Team BMP out of anything. They've been having such a strong back half to the season. Definitely expect to see them up near the front by the end of the race. I know we've talked a lot about where people are going to have different strategies going around these tracks. Some people like to be further towards the back, be able to work their way up kind of at their own pace. Other people want to get out front and stay out front. Do you think that makes a big difference at short track racing for guys like Josh Kelly who do like to go up through the track and kind of get their way back up to the front? Is that more risky in your opinion at a short track?
Yeah, especially here at Richmond. I mean, I'm usually a guy that will fight you tooth and nail that says track position's overrated. A lot of people argue track position's huge. I'm in the camp that it's overrated and overplayed at a lot of places. Richmond is not one of those places. You've got to have good track position and move your way up, especially if you're not sure how the cautions are going to work, how the drivers are going to drive. Anything could happen, and it's incredibly hard to pass here unless you're timing it just right, especially around turns 3 and 4 and come out of this corner. So you're really going to have to try to get up front, stay up front. Another thing is, I know it's called squirrel territory. Would never call any territory that here in any league, but statistically where most of the wrecks happen, it's actually kind of right in the front middle of or the front of the middle part of the pack. So usually about the 40%, 50% of the field. So you really want to stay away from that area. If you can get in front of that early, you might have a statistical chance to avoid some cautions, but I mean, they can happen anywhere.
100%. And the other thing to take into consideration, especially with Richmond, is even though it is short track racing, it's one of the bigger short tracks. I mean, 3/4 of a mile out here tonight. I mean, clean air is going to come into play. It's not like your typical very short track, like a Martinsville or something like that, where everyone's going to kind of be packed on it in front of each other. Unless you get way out in front, there's really no such thing as clean air. I mean, you've got enough room here to where clean air can absolutely make a difference, especially after the most recent iRacing updates. Clean air makes a huge difference in how you're able to pull up on the car in front of you and how you're able to kind of get on the bottom side of them like you're going to need to do if you want to pass here. I think passing, like you said, it already is very difficult at Richmond. I think even more so tonight, we're going to see these guys, if you're able to get to the front and get out there quickly and build yourself a little bit of lead, I think it's going to be very, very hard to run them down.
Absolutely, and we are just finishing up the warm-up sessions here. Got the number 4, Tyler Millette in the comments. Shout out to the LPR guys, the Loud Pedal Racing. Hope it's a good race tonight. I know a bunch of those LPR guys are hoping it is too for them. Some of them are trying to move up a little bit more in the points. Some of them are pretty steady there. I can't remember where Jamie Horne is at now. I know we had the Horne Simpson and then we had Elite Southern. I think he's still with Elite Southern Motorsports right now. I'll have to double check on that in a second. He's got a pretty solid lead out there. But we are gridding up now. If you would like to read off our grid for tonight.
I can certainly oblige there. As mentioned earlier, and as mentioned so many times this season, once again, the number 98 machine of Jamie Horne is going to be taking your pole position here tonight for Richmond. Second place is going to go to Christopher Simon of the Shoney's Racing team. Third place, Justin McMahon for that LPR team. Number 90 of Zachary Miller going to be starting in 4th, but having really, really fast car these past several weeks. Eric Warman, number 31 car, starting 5th. Brandon Trush fighting his way up for a playoff spot, starting 6th. Mike Leftwich, another Shoney's Racing teammate of Chris Simon, going to be starting 7th. Joe McKnight going to be starting 8th. Gary Clune, Team BMP, starting 9th. Zach Michael in 10th. Marc Dumont also fighting for his playoff spot, starting in 11th. Stephen Bonomo going to be starting in 12th. Andrew St. Coeur is going to be starting in 13th. Jason Ross starting 14th. That is going to be the end of our drivers who put down a qualifying time, so it will go by practice time after that. So it will be Josh Cully in the 88 car starting 15th. It's going to be Tony Martin Starting 16th, no, it's not. It's going to be Richard Leclerc, I believe. And then it is going to be Joshua Hart, newcomer to the league. After that, it is going to be Daniel Wilkerson, and then Tony Martin, and then Bill Gentry. And that is going to be your 20 drivers who are taking the field tonight. Phyllis Smith in the comments listening for you too, Hunter. Thank you, Miss Phyllis. Even though I know you call us both Hunter. So, could be either one of us.
And when we were doing our grid walkthrough, Joe McKnight was not in the grid yet, so I couldn't go to him. So I want to make sure that car, that nice paint scheme with the mellow yellow gets shown. Also, Andrew St. Coeur was not geared up yet. Don't want to leave anybody hanging. A little surprised Andrew St. Coeur is this far back. May have been something happening in practice, but he's going to be one of those guys we're talking about wants to get in front. If you could divide the field 0 to 100%, 100% or 100 being the last person, you want to be about that 40th ahead, if that makes any sense at all. I'm trying to divide the number 16 in my head to see where the top 40% would be, but if you can get in the top 40% of this field, I think you have a better chance of staying out of a wreck. And again, just off statistical chances, I haven't looked at any driver and saw like who's where.
I think your pit road strategy is going to come into play too, and Jamie Horne's been the king of that tonight, so already a huge advantage starting out front. Been very good on pit stops here this year. I expect to see Jamie near the front, if not in the front, at the end of this thing. Wonderful night for racing. 81 degrees outside, 84 degrees on the track. At Richmond, we are going to be doing 200 laps here tonight in the Group 6 Cup Series for the North American Specialized 150. The pace car is off. Jamie Horne will take the green flag, and we will get this thing underway. We are racing at Richmond. What a jump for that bottom lane there. Jamie Horne takes off with Justin McMahon and Eric Warman pushing right behind him.
Oh.
Justin McMahon already goes around. He's in the inside wall, and they're going to throw the caution. That is going to be a early start to the yellow flags here at Richmond. Couldn't even quite get through lap one. Just looked like Justin McMahon got a little bit loose there and ended up in the inside wall. Unfortunate to see.
I didn't even have time to pull up my tower yet.
Unfortunately, Justin McMahon been on the receiving end of some bad luck over the past couple of weeks. Well, it looks like it's going to continue, unfortunately, here tonight at Richmond.
Yeah, I just got loose there. Tried to hit the brakes. Barely touches the wall. Shouldn't have too much damage, but I've said it once and said it 100 times. These cars can kind of surprise you sometimes.
I think we experienced that just the other night. Thought we had a pretty light touch on the wall, and turns out it was 1:30, and then the car didn't want to go left so good anymore.
Yeah, I mean, these cars just... Sometimes they take a beating and it's fine, and other times it's like they're made of chalk and sandpaper, or chalk and glass. But
well, Justin McMahon's going to be taking that thing down pit road, trying to get it repaired and get it back out onto the track. Looks like Josh Cully's going to also take an early pit. Might be some strategy there. Don't believe anyone else went with him. Just Josh Cully going down pit road. Justin McMahon obviously going down as well, trying to get some damage repaired. Like I said, we are doing 200 laps here tonight at Richmond. We will have some stage breaks, which I should have written down and didn't. But again, if this is your first time joining us, we do not do a caution flag for our stage breaks. It's just for bonus points. So you will see these drivers start to battle a little bit more, as there is bonus points for every driver in the top 10 at each of our stages. I believe we will have 2 tonight. And I'm hoping that this is going to look like a really smart transition when I ask John what those are.
the stage breaks tonight are 50 and 100.
That was a great transition, and I meant to do that.
I was actually just looking them up myself because I looked them up earlier and I forgot when you forgot.
Perks of being friends with your broadcast partner. You know how each other think after all these years. I was trying to jabber a little extra and try to be like virtually elbow him and be like, hey, I don't know the answer. I need you to look it up. But who does have the answers for these racetracks, at least apparently over the past couple of weeks, is Jamie Horne. And look at him go. Lap 6 underway. We're back, baby.
Oh, that was a good one.
Thank you, sir. Jamie Horne immediately out to a big lead there. Chris Simon in that 21 machine trying to catch back up. Eric Warman down there on the bottom side going to take third place away from Zachary Miller.
Looking at Andrew St. Coeur, already jumped up 4 spots here. Mike Leftwich up 2 spots. Eric Warman up 2 spots. Andrew St. Coeur trying to get back up to the front. Continue this good points run that he's been having over the past few weeks. Had to miss Watkins Glen last week, leaving Gary Klume, the only BMP driver out there. There's Joe McKnight getting our John Deere Award. No caution yet.
No caution. Rest in peace to Joe Diffie. We've got a battle going on up at the front. Looks like Zachary Miller, Brandon Trush, and Mike Leftwich almost took it 3 wide there. Brandon Trush, a man on a mission, trying to get his way into the playoffs. He's there on the inside of Mike Leftwich. That's where you're gonna want to be to get your passes completed, but you got to get a really good run out of those X's to try to get back up and finish that pass.
Yeah, one of the problems with being low, especially here at Richmond, is you have to enter turn 1 very low, and that's going to slow you down a whole lot on entry. But Brandon Trush able to get around, make that pass, and he's going to try to hunt down Zach Miller in 4th place spot. I know we talked about some guys trying to get in the playoffs that are kind of newcomers last week. Brandon Trush, one of those guys. Ray Ritenour, the second, not here tonight. It's going to be a tough grind for them to try to get into the playoffs, but I was looking at it, and it is 100% possible for this to happen. Just needs some good runs tonight and next week.
Especially when looking at, again, some news that just saw on here that has some playoff implications. Number 14 of Marc Dumont off of the track, saw him slow down on the infield there, and is now on pit road. Don't think he took any damage. At least I didn't see anything happen. I don't know if something felt wrong or something happened with the internet or his setup, but he was battling to try to get his way into the playoffs right there on the bubble. And he is currently off the track 2 laps down, sitting in the last place spot.
Yeah, that's big news for the number 4 Bill Gentry out there, who is currently sitting in 21st place. I believe he is 10 points behind Marc Dumont. So finishing about 2 spots over him tonight could definitely help him out get into that position. Better make it 3 spots just to be safe. Chris Simon all over the back bumper of Jamie Horne, trying to challenge the leader out here. Jamie Horne's been pretty good over the past few weeks.
Pretty good.
Just keeping him humble.
Okay, fair enough. You see right there as well, that is the 51 machine of Joe McKnight. He's currently settled in right there behind the number 90 machine of Zachary Miller. Joe McKnight had a little spin there a couple laps ago. He is now officially a lap down. He's going to be sitting in 19th position. Right now, as you see the 23 of Brandon Trush try to get to the inside and work his way around. Right now, it seems like Jamie Horne and Chris Simon have something figured out. Chris Simon only about 0.2 of a second behind Jamie Horne. But they're both pulling out to a pretty significant lead. The leader has almost a full second on Eric Warman already, and over a second on Zachary Miller in 4th place. Almost 2 seconds on Brandon Trush in 5th place. And of course, broadcaster's curse, it goes to 2 seconds right after I say almost. But Andrew St. Coeur, good Lord, man on a mission. Oh, Gary Klume loose.
Sorry, I'm just enjoying this this footage and audio here. It's kind
This is
of
short track racing at its best, man.
just a little lost in the sauce, as the kids would say.
Hello, fellow children. Do you also like racing? Current biggest movers out on the track. Andrew St. Coeur starting at 13th, already up to 6th place. Josh Cully started 15th, all the way up to 9th already.
Steve Bonomo making that move to get around Joe McKnight. Not a pass for position, but does help him get free a little bit and run his line. Joe McKnight throwing it right back down the bottom side.
Love to see it. I love to still see the fight out of guys when something's bad's happened. They've gotten loose, gotten in an accident, whatever, and they're still out there battling. Really great to see. Love to see that heart. We talk about a lot of the times how racing can be as much a mental game as anything else. And you're seeing that out there on the track right now. Saw Gary Clune in the number 11 B&P machine get a little bit loose there a few laps ago, but he is right back to it as well.
Yeah,
He is going to lose his position to Josh Cully right there.
Yeah, looks like he kind of gave it to him there, going a little bit higher through 3 and 4. I hate to say there's no speed there, but there's practically no speed about a lane or two up through 3 and 4. Unless you're just got fresh tires, the guy below you doesn't, or you're doing something insanely good that other people aren't. Josh Cully moving in front of Mike Leftwich there as well. So now he's up 8 spots. But in the meantime, Andrew St. Coeur getting past Brandon Trush and Zach Miller, moving into that 4th place spot, trying to chase down Eric Warman.
It's looking like he's going to do it. I mean, Andrew St. Coeur is putting down blazing fast laps right now. Let's put it in perspective. He just ran a 21.133. Jamie Horne qualified in first with a 21.141.
Wow. Well, if you need a track position, he has definitely got it.
Like you said, it's going to be, like you said at the beginning of this race, it's going to be one of those things you have to be able to balance out as this race goes on. We are on lap 26 already of this thing. And if you're burning up around this track, you're not going to wear your tires out so much as you would at other tracks, but you are going to heat them up. And that is going to get you incredibly loose. Track not too hot out there tonight. It was 86 degrees when the race started. Still sitting at 86 right now. Definitely a bit hotter out there, but you're still going to get those tires warmed up. And it is just going to want to fly out from under you if you get on those brakes a little too quickly going into entry.
Yeah, Mike Leftwich out here still riding that high side, getting passed by Stephen Bonomo. That's going to be for 9th place as Stephen Bonomo moves up just a little bit more. Newcomer Joshua Hart looking on the inside. Looks like Just McMahon's thinking the same thing.
He's having a good race as well. Started in 18th all the way up to 11th already. Again, just an update for where we are on the track as well. Started the race with 20 drivers, 17 cars currently on the lead lap. Joe McKnight out there on the track in 18th. Had a spin out back on, I believe it was lap 12 or 13. Still out there driving hard, but may have some damage he needs to get fixed or something like that, but is in our lucky dog position currently. Marc Dumont currently sitting in 20th position, 18 laps down. He is sitting on pit road. Don't know if he plans to re-enter, if it's a starting part for him tonight. And Richard Leclerc no longer in the session, currently 14 laps down. Marc Dumont can get back out on the track somehow, then he could end up getting out of 20th and up into 19th. Got a car pitting already as well. The 00 of Jason Ross bringing it down pit road. Looks like he got it right to the entry of pit road and then towed.
Yeah, I was about to say mine kind of cut out just for a second, but I don't know if he lost his screen or what happened there. Josh Cully trying to work around Brandon Trush. As he's moving up now. It's going to put him up 10 spots for the night. Trush decides to let him go.
I think especially as we approach that, like you said, that kind of 50 lap right at that first stage, I think that's when we're going to see people really start to try to move and shake and see if the guys who maybe have been saving a little bit of tires, if that's actually going to pay off, or if you're just able to run away with this thing. If you got a fast car, you got a fast car. And just let it go. But Andrew St. Coeur up to third, up 10 spots. Josh Cully also up 10 spots. Other big movers. Joshua Hart up to the top 10, starting in 18th. Bill Gentry started in 20th and up to 14th.
Yeah, right
Andrew St.
along
Coeur
here.
makes that pass.
Sorry, I'm right along here with Jamie Horne, seeing how he's taken this track and doing it well. Kind of the same strategy as you would do usually around like a Phoenix track. We're going to shift up to a fifth gear here, and then shift down. It's going to help that car slow down. A little bit of engine brake, gets the car rotated around. He wraps that line very well. And by the time he's back on the throttle, his wheel is almost directly at the 12 o'clock position, which is going to save him a lot of tire.
I mean, there's just so many reasons that this is great for Jamie Horne right now. Obviously, you're leading the race, you're leading laps, you're in a great position to be in first for the stage. So just all of those reasons, just for starters. But we talked about at the beginning of the race too, clean air is so important at Richmond. So he's got the clean air out there. He's 2.7 seconds ahead of Andrew St. Coeur. Chris Simon's trying to get back into second position. These guys are going to be battling. And Jamie Horne doesn't have to worry about that. He doesn't have to worry about that until he gets back around the track. He gets to the bumper of Daniel Wilkerson, who's still probably a good 5-6 seconds ahead of him. So if you're Jamie Horne, this is exactly where you want to be, running exactly the race you want to. And then you also have to take into consideration, if we do end up staying green here and there's no other yellow flags, pretty much every pit road strategy is going to be dictated by what Jamie Horne does.
Yeah, sometimes that's a scary thing as a leader. I was having a conversation with a teammate the other night about that at a race, and he was leading and I was in second place, and he was my teammate, but I told him, I'm going to do the opposite of what you're going to do. I hate to say it, but this was on the last few laps, but it is kind of scary being a leader and kind of almost dictating everybody else's pit strategy. But a guy like Jamie Horne has enough experience under his belt leading races and winning races, obviously, that he probably does not have the same amount of anxiety as I have when doing that.
Well, I believe one of your lines to your teammate in that race was, we're teammates until the white flag flies or the good Lord comes back. And I think that's one of the cooler things I've ever heard you say.
Yeah, whichever one comes first. We're teammates until white flag or until Jesus comes back. Because last lap, I'm racing you for it. I don't care who you are.
Trumpets sound and you're like, wait, 1 second. I can see the checkers.
I think it was Tony Stewart that said, I'll wreck your grandma for a championship.
Yep. I'll try to delay the return of the good Lord for a championship. That's messed up.
Right here on the outside, Joshua Hart trying to get there. And Steve Bonomo running that number 9 Hooters car made by SSR Designs. Longtime friend and sponsor of the league. Ran by our very own Hunter Simpson, who's been actually tearing it up in the Tuesday night series lately.
Hunter Simpson has been a problem in that ARCA series. And another problem is that battle there. Good Lord, those guys were going at it.
What a move. And that's what he wants to do. You got to get to that inside if you have any chance to make him pass here.
Excuse me.
That's good racing right there, man.
Yeah, just kind of scooch him up out of the way. No cautions, no yellow flags. Just, hey, I said excuse me.
That was a big bump by Justin McMahon there.
Yeah, Justin McMahon trying to battle his way back up as well.
That's even better move by Joshua Hart, cutting him off right there.
Always awesome to see when we get new drivers into the Group 6 Cup Series Doghouse Racing League. These guys already know what they're doing, just real professional driving, and love to see that out of Joshua Hart. Really good battle going on back there in the 8th, 9th, and 10th spots.
Justin McMahon fighting his way back up I don't know how much damage he might be dealing with. And then we see some cosmetic damage there on the front and left of that car. But yeah, as you can see right
It's looking
there,
like it's still driving pretty good.
he's driving it good. He might not agree with it driving good.
Up toward the front, we do have Jamie Horne starting to run into some lap traffic. Daniel Wilkerson, race admin, has brought it down pit road and has it parked currently. He's going to be 3 laps down in 17th. Joe McKnight was already 1 lap down from the incident earlier on. In danger of going 2 laps down here as Jamie Horne is working his way around the field. He just put the 34 machine of Zach Michael a lap down, as he did for the number 2 of Tony Martin in that blue Miller Lite machine. Joe McKnight on the outside there as Jamie Horne goes around, and that is going to put Joe McKnight 2 laps down. You're going to have Bill Gentry up there, currently our last car on the lead lap, running in 13th place, but Jamie Horne is coming in hot.
Looking here at Chris Simon trying to
I feel like
get
this
to
is as
Josh
good a
Kelly.
time as any to also say once again thank you to everybody who is joining here tonight for the Group 6 Cup Series and the Doghouse Racing League here at Richmond Raceway for the North American Specialized 150. 18 people out there watching us live. Thank you for choosing to spend some of your Thursday evening with us, and thank you for commenting and cheering on these drivers. I know they love to hear it. Or in the case of John's mother, cheering on the broadcasters. It is appreciated either way. And once again, thank you to our series sponsor, Group 6, and our race sponsor, North American Specialized. We also just crossed the 50-lap mark, and that is going to be the end of stage 1. That is going to be bonus points for Jamie Horne and bonus points for everybody in the top 10. Really great moving by Andrew St. Coeur and Josh Kelly, who are both in the top 3 now. Worked their way both from out of the top 10 to be there. So it's going to be really good bonus points for them as well.
Chris Simon was actually giving it to Josh Kelly just a second ago. He's backed off since then, but kind of a little battle going on there. But it looks like Cully's going to pull out a little bit here to about a half a second over Chris Simon. Simon starting 2nd place. He's now back to 4th place. Can't imagine these runs are going to last too much longer without a pit stop coming maybe in the next 20 laps or so, depending on how much fuel these guys have.
I'm not exactly sure of the amount of fuel that they have out there tonight, but one of the other things that I'm noticing is I'm not seeing very much tire fall off at all. I mean, the guys that got out front are staying out front, and the guys that blew their way through the pack driving it really hard don't look like they're losing any time at all.
Yeah, we can actually kind of take a look here with Jamie Horne, who appears to be shifting in about the same spot, which tells me his exit is about the same as what it was earlier when we were looking through his cockpit camera to see when he was shifting gears. Probably won't shift here on the backstretch, might keep it in 4th. There you go. And then as you get to this front stretch, you can drive it out a little bit stronger in 4th gear. Shift right past the line, and he's looking for this probably second to last little NASCAR symbol on the wall we kind of marked earlier inside of our track walk video, which is going to be his braking point. As the night goes on, he will be backing that braking point up. Usually during qualifying, a lot of guys go to that last NASCAR symbol. As the race goes on, you start backing that symbol up just a little bit. You'll see here, I think he was going on the second one, those symbols on the wall. So a lot goes into it, man. It's not just a turn left and hit the gas.
Especially here at short tracks, man. There's a lot of strategy that goes into it, and now we're starting to get into the other side of the strategy now, where we've had pretty much 60 laps of green flag racing. At this point, had that first caution on lap 1. I know we also saw Josh Cully come down pit road during that first caution, so he might have a little bit extra gas in the tank than everybody else, but it can't be that much. And we're going to have to start seeing some green flag pit stops here soon, if there is no yellow flags. Richmond, an incredibly tough track to green flag pit stop at.
Trush has been falling back just a little bit here. Joshua Hart's been trying to make up where he can. He's actually back 2 spots from where he started, but trying to improve on that now, looking to get around Brandon Trush. I wanted to ask, there was a lot of, I don't know what to say, controversy discussed whenever these front-facing numbers came out, the numbers towards the front of the car. But now you're looking at Joshua Hart, who has a back-facing number. I mean, not back-facing, but back-rear number. What do you think about that?
I'm taking a closer look at it now. I like it. And they're kind of offset there. I actually like Joshua Hart's setup a lot there. I think that white, black, and orange plays really, really nice. Got the Gov X on the side. Get that government money where you can, son. I appreciate it.
I don't know. I was in the unpopular opinion. I like the front-facing number, the forward-facing number. And I think that's just because of the design thing. Like, it gives you more room to do more stuff in the car.
And I can see some pit road starting to open up here a little bit as well. Just saw somebody enter, and that's 34 of Zach Michael. Currently sitting a lap down, running in 14th. Bringing it down. One of the things that I'm just really kind of surprised about is I'm seeing so little fall off on these drivers' times. Eric Warman there, bringing it down pit road. We were talking about earlier how Jamie Horne ran a 21.14 to qualify in first place. He's at 22.8 last lap by. Same thing for Andrew St. Coeur, 22.8. Josh Cully ran a 22.9 last time by. And these guys have only lost like a second and some change over 67 laps of racing at Richmond. That seems kind of crazy.
Well, yeah, I was about to start talking about the choke. No, this not a ton of fall off here, man. Like we were talking about earlier, the tires are going to heat up a little bit. Actually, a lot of it, and that's what's going to really affect your driving. But as far as wear goes and trying to get that speed coming out of the corners, like you're not going to lose a ton of that over the course of this run. This is where things like caution flags happen, actually play off a lot here because it's able to cool your tires down. You essentially have a tire with only 5% loss, maybe 10% loss at the end of a 70 lap run, but just able to cool those tires down. You can also play a little strategy. Instead of running at 100% through these corners, you can back off for a few laps, let the tires cool down and get a better run later on during the race, or for at least a short stint.
Like Andrew St. Coeur just now bringing it off of pit road. He went ahead to come down and get those tires and gas. He's going to be a lap down in 10th, but everything will still need to cycle out. Jamie Horne still out there up front. Chris Simon now in second place as Josh Cully in the 88 is bringing it down. It's like Brandon Trush and Zachary Miller Also going to go ahead and bring it down. Just heard Stephen Bonomo come over the radio, say that he's going to be coming down pit road next time by. And green flag pit stops are underway. As I say that, it looks like Zach Michael in that 34 car has also decided to call it a night. Looks like that is going to give us just 15 cars going to be keeping it out on the track for the end of Richmond here. Joe McKnight, 4 laps down, currently running in 15th, is going to be your last car out there. Zach Michael in 16th, Daniel Wilkerson in 17th. Jason Ross, 18, Richard Leclerc, 19, and Marc Dumont, all no longer on the track.
Very Kluge making a pass around Chris Simon. For position.
Has Gary Clune already, he can't have already brought it down.
He has not.
At this point, it would just be Jamie, Gary, and Chris Simon that still need to pit.
Yep, and then you have Mike Leftwich, Bill Gentry on the same pit strategy, and Joshua Hart on that same pit strategy as well. I believe Joshua Hart's bringing it down right now as I say that, though. Coming out of the pits
off.
at least.
Yep.
Yeah, Chris Simon, Gary Clune on the same strategy. So something must have happened a little bit with Chris Simon there. She's falling back to about a 16-second gap behind the leader in Jamie Horne.
I think Jamie came over the radio.
Caution.
Yellow flag's out.
Any feeling about the car at all?
Caught some radio traffic there for a second from a spotter. I think that's going to be Joshua Hart. I can't even find him on my board.
I had heard Bonomo and Andrew St. Coeur talking a little bit. I think they almost got into each other. And then something happened to Joshua Hart there. See if we can figure out what happened. Only the second caution flag of the night here at Richmond.
Ooh, yeah. See if we can actually ride along with Joshua Hart here. As he gets in here to turn one. Tries to get back on the gas, hits that apron just a little bit, and it snaps on him.
And I know a lot of times not seeing 2 cars involved will usually not result in a yellow flag, especially here in the Group 6 Cup Series Doghouse Racing League. But when you have somebody there that's gotten loose and they're able to get it woed down and keep themselves out of the wall, which is exactly what you're trying to do. Unfortunately, it just kind of happens in the middle of the track there. It's better to go ahead and throw it and try to get everybody slowed down so we don't end up being the end of not only your own night, but others as well. Kate. Got K Doggy in the chat as well, saying, "What's up? Miss racing with the boys. We miss you too, buddy." Seeing everybody get gridded up here.
Going to be a lot of wave rounds.
There's going to be a lot of wave rounds, and do you think this might be some trouble for Jamie Horne here?
Not a bit. For being honest. But I think Josh Cully's already pitted.
That's what I'm saying. I know he has. So I don't think Jamie has pitted yet.
No, Jamie, Gary Clune, Chris Simon, and Andrew St. Coeur. I think Andrew St. Coeur's also pitted too. So I don't know.
I think there's only 3 cars that haven't pitted, and I think it was Jamie, Chris.
Oh no, they have already
Maybe
brought it
Gary
down.
Clune.
Mind not going.
It looks like they all 3 have brought it down, so they are safe. That did kind of scare me just a little bit there. I'm trying to figure out how this is going to shake up, because the way it is now, there will only be 4 or 5 on the lead lap.
I know some people got the waiver around there. Yeah, this might take a second to figure out.
And while that's happening, we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. We are back to green flag racing. Jamie Horne with a really good jump, getting way out there in front. I realized that I still had my spotter and radio stuff on. I want to make sure I get that turned off really quick before anything gets thrown out there into the air. But it does
People dancing all over the track right now. And also only 5 cars on the lead lap.
Look at
Jamie
this,
Horne
3 wide.
and
Good gracious.
That's a big 3 wide there.
Just McMahon meet the sandwich. Says he doesn't mind, pushes on through. Still ripping that
he's
high
making
side.
that middle lane stick too. My goodness gracious.
You got to think this is a battle now to get back to that 6th place spot where Bill Gentry currently is occupying. You get there, you might get the lucky dog next time by, or next caution that comes out.
Yeah, this is really going to be a battle because at this point, like we were just talking about, there's 5 people on the lead lap. You got Jamie Horne, Gary Clune, Chris Simon, Josh Cully, and Andrew St. Coeur. Your top 5, and they're the only ones on the lead lap. Everyone battling to get to Bill Gentry's spot. Oh, just saw some cars bouncing around there. It looks like Stephen Bonomo caught the wall just a little bit. Zachary Miller on the bottom of the track had to save it a little bit.
Hey, dog, he said, "Oh, that would be fun." I think he's referencing the radios. I have done that one time, and it was not for this league, but I let the radios fly for a second. Because I think people will be fine. I warned them beforehand what was happening, like everybody's gonna be able to hear you. And I think they forgot that within about 10 seconds, and then we cut it right back off. Have not went back to it since.
I know we've talked about it before. Try to keep it, PG-13 around here. Everyone on the track, they're competitive. They're racing hard. They're trying to get their points, and sometimes that comes with a little bit of the big boy words. And we try to keep that off of here just in case you're watching with your kids, watching with your grandma, whatever the case may be, and maybe they wouldn't appreciate it, and also want to give these guys the privacy to say their words if they want to.
Yeah, Doghouse is actually pretty good about that too. I mean, I'm racing in some other leagues that a little bit more loose with the radio traffic, but Doghouse is pretty strict on talking over the radio and minimizing the chatter throughout the race. So here, I feel like I wouldn't really be worried about it.
Yeah, it just does good. It just keeps the drama away from things as well. You know, if you let kind of the radios fly and you get people kind of jabbering back and forth at each other, that can just kind of put somebody on a tee to have a bad time later on in the race, and we try to avoid that. And I think it's good to keep the racing communications to as much of just that as possible.
Yeah, most of my radio traffic's just apologizing to people. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. My bad.
K-Doggy in the chat saying, thanks for the broadcast. I'm in Missouri for work, so can't race for a while. Well, rather, good luck in Missouri. We miss having you out here. And I was going to say good luck in Missouri. I don't know too much about Missouri.
Do you need luck in Missouri? Is it that bad?
I mean, look, man, we talked about it in the beginning. I'm from Virginia. I'm a man that likes mountains. I like my landscape to have some elevation change to it. The states that don't have any elevation change give me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, I am not a mountain guy at all. And my biggest argument for that is just go outside. You live in the mountains. Why don't you just go outside and throw a football around for about 5 minutes and see how much you love mountains then. When you're chasing that thing down a hill, it should have been just like a 5-yard overthrow, and nope, you're going about another 50, 60 yards downhill, then back uphill.
Really get those steps in.
I guess it teaches you to throw good though, but I mean,
I suppose so. He said it's almost as bad as Illinois. Now, I have been to Illinois, and no disrespect to any of my Illinois brethren out here, but, you know, yuck. Oh, we got to slow down on the track. Tony Martin almost. Stephen Bonomo almost going around, able to save it. Excuse me, that wasn't Tony Martin. That was Zachary Miller. Almost getting into them. Steve Bonomo almost ended up on the inside wall, able to save it.
I'm trying to cut back here to see if I can see it on this replay. I believe it was right around this corner here. Tony Martin up in the wall a little bit. Oh yeah, gets a little bit on the inside. Those guys have been racing hard all night. But right now, if a caution did come out, this is the guy that would get the lucky dog. As our friend and colleague of a broadcaster would say, the Mark Award. Nicholas Maynard.
The Mark.
It's a good time if you want to see a good broadcast on if you got TikTok on usually every other, what is it, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Saturday nights, the Madness Racing League Boot Scoop broadcast. It is a good time.
I will say this, in a world where so many people are trying to broadcast or be on social media, Nick Maynard has done probably one of the better jobs of anybody I've ever seen of making a unique broadcast. K-Doggy in the chat saying, I'm from Normal, Illinois, so I can say it ain't normal. That's a good one. Buddy, I'm from Bedford, Virginia, so I feel like you and me might be similar, just there's more hills where I'm from.
And right now, moving up into that Bark Award, that's going to be Justin McMahon, moving into the 6th spot, getting around Bill Gentry, so if caution does come out, he will be the lucky dog. Speaking of Virginia, man, Virginia, I lived in Virginia for, what, 4 or 5, about 6 to 7 years maybe, and learned very quickly that Virginia is just, there's counties and stuff, but it's really divided up into 3 different areas. You have Virginia Beach, Virginia, or people are from Nova, Virginia, or they're from the mountains of Virginia, the Blue Ridge, and that's about, you won't get any more details out of them. Where are you from? I'm from Virginia Beach. No, like, where are you from though? Like, oh, I'm from like 70 miles outside of Virginia Beach, but that's my closest place.
Yeah, Virginians really like to do that, where it's like, oh yeah, like you said, Virginia Beach. That's anywhere that's roughly east of like Fredericksburg, if you were to draw a straight line straight down. And then you got anyone Nova, yellow flag out.
Joe McKnight. I think he's already towed it there. Trying to get down to the apron, looks like. Oh. Not sure what happened there. Might have had some issues with his iRacing.
Yeah, just takes it down to that yellow line and decides it's time for a chicken sandwich.
Hey, I think y'all. I think you're getting a Buc-ee's up around Richmond. Might be a good place to head to there, but a lot of guys bringing it down pit road. Justin McMahon's going to get that lap back.
He's going to keep it out. Seen most of the leaders bring it down pit road. Yeah, they actually just built a Buc-ee's in Harrisonburg, which is about 35 minutes, 45 minutes from where my parents live, up in, and when I say, because there's also a difference, if we want to go to that side of it, there's a difference between Northern Virginia and Nova. Nova is Richmond and up, going up towards DC. Northern Virginia can also be anything that's west of that, that's West Virginia adjacent. And that is different. And also what the song was about, so I don't want to hear anything from any West Virginians.
I have to remind my buddy Baker about that a lot. Baker Knapp, actually, who we named Knapp Daddy Racing after, but he thinks the song's about West Virginia.
The song is about northwestern Virginia, like Shenandoah Mountains, Virginia. And that has absolutely nothing to do with the fact of no matter how bad Virginia gets, we always are like, well, we're not as bad as West Virginia.
Speaking about West Virginia and how good West Virginia has been to the Doghouse Racing League, I want to give a big shout out to Shoney's for being our sponsor. You can check out all their West Virginia locations, kind of right there on the border of West Virginia and the Virginia lineup. And I know there's one in Pearisburg. I got to see the back of, I think, Mike Leftwich's car to know the rest of them. But
well, if that's one thing they're doing right, it is Shoney's. I have very fond memories of Shoney's from my childhood. When my family moved back from Tennessee when I was just a young boy, one of the places that we lived near in Cloverdale, Virginia, just outside of Roanoke, was a Shoney's. And if there's something that you can tell a small boy with a family on a budget is, we can go here, you can eat for $4, and you can have as much bacon as you want. I mean, I just felt the blessings of the Lord in that moment. Someone else who's blessed by the Lord, Jamie Horne, starts. Good night. We are back under green here, lap 113 here in the North American Specialized 150 here at Richmond Raceway. Jamie Horne immediately back out to a convincing lead, but we have a pile behind him trying to run him down.
since Just McMahon being the lucky dog, he will have to start at the longest end of the longest line, so he's got to fight back through a little bit more traffic. But now Brandon Trush is going to be the next man up for that lucky dog position. We did pass lap 100 earlier, being Jamie Horne, so he's going to take stage 2. Looking at Steven Bonomo trying to make a run here on the inside of Zach Miller in that 90 car.
Something else that I noticed here, and I don't know if you're seeing the same thing. I saw Joshua Hart get his lap back as well, sitting in 7th. I don't know if he didn't come down pit road to get the lap back or what happened, but he is way off the pace right now.
Adjustment man working his way up, getting around Steven Bonomo. Steven give him just a little tap there. Moving back towards the front, though, Jamie Horne got a almost half a second lead over top of Andrew St. Coeur. Andrew St. Coeur up 11 spots tonight, tied for the biggest mover with 2 other people in Joshua Cully, who is sitting in 4th place, and Joshua Hart, who is sitting in 7th. All up 11
Did something
spots.
happen with, it looks like Mike Leftwich and Joshua Hart, because they are just 2 by 2 right now, way off the pace.
Not sure. We can try to pop into the cockpit here with Joshua Cully. You can see just how hard he's turning that wheel, so he's probably dealing with some damage.
Josh Hart.
Sorry, Joshua Hart. And he is cranking that wheel pretty hard to the left and being very easy on the throttle. I don't think that's going to be a fuel-saving strategy, but
I wonder, I don't know if he pitted. Everyone else did. I'm not sure if he was trying to get his lap back, and so he decided to try to stay out, and maybe he's on very old tires, and we are on lap 120 of 200 here, and most of these guys hadn't pitted in about 60 laps, so it was time. But speaking of time for Josh Cully to hit the gas. Zooms around the 21 of Christopher Simon on the outside. And he's trying to run down Andrew St. Coeur and Jamie Horne.
you know, if he didn't pit, he might be trying to save some fuel there and hold out to the very end, but he's going to lose a lot of time doing that. Just the way he was turning that wheel looked like there was some damage going on. I know we popped in with Jamie Horne earlier, talking about how straight he was keeping that wheel. You kind of want to let the track do all the work for you. Let the banking help the car turn. You could use a little bit of throttle to help rotate out of the corners. Use a little brake to help get into the corners with some brake bias. But I'm not sure if he's saving fuel or if he's got damage or what. I'm interested to see what these strategies will be on pit road, though, with these tires heating up the way they do. As your right side tires heat up more and more, your car is going to get a little bit more tight. So they take air pressure measurements before you make your run while the car is sitting still, and you're also going to get measurements when the tires heat up, and you can see just how much those tires expand.
It's going to be very interesting to see. We're in an interesting spot because, I mean, these guys will have gotten fresh tires and gas at about lap 110 there. Still got 80 laps left to go in this thing. Currently have 7 drivers on the lead lap, Joshua Hart being your last car on the lead lap currently, but seemingly off the pace here. Ran a 22.8 that last time by your leader, Jamie Horne, running a 22.6 currently. Then we have 5 cars, 1 lap down. That is Brandon Trush, currently in your lucky dog position at 8. Eric Warman, Zachary Miller, Stephen Bonomo, and Bill Gentry. Mike Leftwich is in 13th, and he is 2 laps down. And then after that is our drivers who have called it a night, which include Joe McKnight in 14th, Tony Martin in 15th, Daniel Wilkerson in 16th, Zach Michael 17, Jason Ross 18, Richard Leclerc 19, and Marc Dumont 20. Something I'm noticing as well, if we cut back to the front here, is that Jamie Horne not, at least as of right now, pulling away like he has over most of this race. It looks like we did just see Joshua Hart bring it down pit road. Curious to see if that's for getting some damage repaired or if that's just to get tires and go.
See if that left side comes up. Yep, so he's going to take 4 tires there.
and then gets it back underway. Yeah, we've seen Jamie Horne pull out in this race to well over 2-second leads very, very quickly. Andrew St. Coeur sitting there only 0.4 of a second back. Actually just lost a little bit of time. It was about 3.5 tenths, I guess. And just went to 0.42. Josh Cully sitting in third place at about 1.5 seconds behind. Chris Simon in fourth, 2 seconds. And then Gary Clune lost 0.4 of a second that lap, down to 3.6. And Justin McMahon currently running in sixth, your last car on the lead lap, 4.6 seconds behind. He's battling with Brandon Trush, who is currently in your lucky dog position. But he's got to stay in front of Eric Warman and Zachary Miller, who are both right there. Brandon Trush really hugging the bottom of the track right now.
Yeah, trying to protect that inside as much as he can. He knows he's sitting in that hot seat for the lucky dog. Eric Warman right on his tail, trying to take it away from him. You got to expect there's probably going to be one more caution during this race at least. So you want to really hold on to that spot and get out as far as you can, really.
It looks like both Eric Warman and Zach Michael looking like they're both able to get better entries than Brandon Trush right now. But Brandon Trush doing a really good job getting back into the throttle on exit and able to get all that time back. Going up to our leaders, we are starting to see some of that separation that we've seen all race. Jamie Horne gone from 0.3 of a second to 1.5 seconds of a lead on Andrew St. Coeur just over the past 6 laps. Josh Cully now 2.6 seconds behind. Chris Simon just over 3 seconds. And 4 and 5 seconds for Justin McMahon, respectfully. I mean, Jamie Horne just has a rocket ship here tonight. He's trying to take this thing wall to wall.
Yeah, it's something I'm noticing he's doing. He's very smooth in and out of the corners, but he's also very consistent where his left front and left rear tire is every lap. I mean, he is at least a tire width away from the apron every single lap. And whenever you get into these high skill categories like Jamie Horne, St. Coeur, Josh Cully, even guys like Justin McMahon, Chris Simon, Gary Clune, you're going to find yourself you're not going to win races off 2 laps. You're not going to gain seconds off laps like that with drivers this good. You have to be good at the little things, and the little things will add up to big things. That's exactly what Jamie Horne is doing here. Every lap, getting to his marks, hitting them well, and that's how he's able to pull away.
And just consistent every single time, exactly like you were saying. And it's not anything particularly difficult, anything particularly tricky. It's just having a plan, coming in, and executing it. And he's one of those drivers, like we were talking about in the pre-race, where like you have drivers that kind of thrive better working their way back up to the front. We continuously use Josh Cully as an example of that, and he started in 15th. Currently running in third. Obviously, it's worked out for him. Andrew St. Coeur we normally see starting towards the front, but he had to work his way up tonight, which he did so well. So we have a car entering pit road right there. That was the number 28 machine of Daniel Wilkerson. Came out for some laps and is bringing it back down pit road.
Yeah, I got some laps trying to move up some spots in front of these guys that are calling it a night early. I would not be surprised if there is a caution at the end to see Andrew St. Coeur make an absolute run.
Definitely very curious to see if Andrew St. Coeur is maybe trying to save, have something left in the tank, but obviously we don't know what's going through these drivers' heads. We don't know who's really trying to save, who's really just letting it eat and just going out there and going. But I don't feel like, from my perspective up here in the booth, like I've seen any sort of tire saving strategies or anything like that where it's been like also was able to make a really great run, 50 laps into the green flag run. It's just been very much kind of a good old get out front and you can stay out front kind of race, which I guess is a testament to the, like you said, the consistency of drivers with a plan, and then, the clean air. Just really, really coming into play tonight.
Yeah, I think a lot of this has to do with fatigue as well. A lot of times you don't think about that, but you have to be mentally sharp for 200 laps by hitting your marks and doing these small tactile skills over and over and over again, continuously. We have a lot of tracks we call rhythm tracks. Richmond, you can maybe put in that bucket of being a rhythm track, like your tracks like Darlington, Dover, Bristol, where you kind of get into a rhythm of gas, brake, on the gas again, stuff like that through the corners. But to be able to do that consistently over 200 laps is what wins you races.
You don't have to tell me. I'm a guy that goes out there, and if I'm on the track for more than 5 laps, I'm headed in a very straight line towards the snack booth.
Dollar dog night.
I can't miss it. Customer for years and years now. Joe knows me, and he's going to miss me if I'm not there.
Cannot miss a dollar dog night. Trying to check in with Brandon Trush here, who is still holding off Zach Miller. Miller getting around Warman, moving up to that 8th place spot. Trush still in line to get that lucky dog position should a caution come out. And I know Jamie Horne doesn't want to hear this, but I usually don't like cautions. I would love to see a caution.
It would stack things back up. It would make it a very interesting end to the race. Here with, I believe we have just 12 cars out on the track at this point. Or nope, 13. Daniel Wilkerson has brought it back out onto the track. He's currently running in 16th. Quite a few laps down, but I know our fearless leader has been recovering from medical procedures, so good to see him back out there on the track for the first time in a while. So respect to him for getting back out here and trying to get it done.
Yeah, this is a points night for him. I believe what he's doing right now, and I don't have anything to confirm this, but he is 2 spots behind Joe McKnight and Tony Martin. He's probably just trying to get out there, run some laps, get in front of those guys, and I imagine you might see him park it again once he does that, just to get 2 more spots worth of points.
I imagine he's probably having to tough it out to actually be out there on the track. So, like you said, you add a difficult track in Richmond, hit your marks so consistently over and over again, and also trying to recover from surgery. That sounds like a big old heaping helping of not fun to me.
Yeah, I can barely race if I'm recovering from a nap, much less a surgery.
I'm just up here in the broadcast booth. All I got to do is jabber for 2 hours. I'm like, man, I wish I'd been able to have a nap today.
Just thinking about what time Whataburger closes down here, and then I remember they're 24 hours.
We actually just got one of those up in North Carolina, about 10, maybe 12 minutes away from where I live.
It's a good burger, I'm not gonna lie. Consider myself a little bit of a burger aficionado. And,
I would like to think of myself the same.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and say it. Whataburger beats the dog out of In-N-Out all day long.
See, I've never had In-N-Out before. But I will hold by these truths I hold by.
Mm-hmm.
A messy
These truths you
burger.
hold self-evident.
A messy burger is the best burger. I hate going to a restaurant that has to over-explain their cheeseburger. Like, oh, we have this in a brioche bun with this fine-cut European cheese. That's too much. Like, you're trying to church it up too much.
I don't want it.
Yeah, like, you shouldn't have to explain your burger that much.
Well, you go to a place like Five Guys, and granted, you paid $20 for a burger and fries, which should be a crime, but it's all over the place. Everything's everywhere. You can't. Can you imagine going on a first date to a Five Guys?
That's an expensive date.
A, expensive date,
You
and
better
B,
like her a lot.
and B, would there be any marriages? Like, you're trying to just discover something about someone, you're just like, you got mushroom falling down into your lap. I mean, that can't be good.
Speaking of Virginia and keeping it relevant and also tying it to burgers, Jack Brown's, a Virginia, I guess it's not even a chain, it's more of a franchise. It's not like 3 or 4
Yep.
locations, but best burger you ever have. And that place is, I mean, you probably need a tetanus shot before you walk in, but best burger you ever have.
I think it's up there.
It's top 2 to 3.
I'm childhood partial to some Southwest Virginia staples in the Tea Room and the Texas Tavern.
Yep, that's a good one. That's also a Virginia staple there.
Only 2 of them: Texas Tavern, the original, in Roanoke, Virginia. Tea Room, the spinoff, in Lynchburg, Virginia. Open 24 hours. Get you a bowl with, get you a cheesy Western. And don't mouth off to the lady behind the counter. She'll hit you with a spatula.
I was thinking the same thing. Debbie behind the counter at the tea room.
She cares about you. She cares about you so much. But don't give her lip.
She will hit you with she will, I don't know if I'm getting Debbie in trouble here, but she will commit assault. A legal amount of assault. Not legal, it's actually illegal what she's doing. But then she'll sit you down and have a good life talk about what you should and shouldn't be doing.
Yep.
I've had my hand smacked by her and her spatula before.
That being said, if you're ever in those areas and you want a pretty great cheeseburger, you should do it.
Oh man, back to some racing here. We got a good old green flag run. Chris Simon, Josh Cully fighting it out. 3rd and 4th place spot. Just McMahon trying to show his hand here. Sitting in 5th place, right behind, seeing what's going to play out. As we're coming to about 38 to go.
Brandon Trush still holding on to that spot in 7th place. Zach Miller, excuse me, right on his tail. Both of them trying to be the lucky dog winner in case we do get another yellow, so they can get back onto the lead lap. And you got to imagine as well, I mean, we last pitted back there, what was it, right around lap 120?
Let me pull up pit stop laps where you can see 109, most of the guys in this pack. Probably just taking fuel there, maybe some tires.
I mean, these guys are out here on approaching 50 lap tires. I mean, those things have got to be starting to scream by this point.
Trying to search through the track now. I believe this is our closest battle that we have going on between Josh Cully, Just McMahon, Chris Simon.
Jamie Horne just keeps building that lead out front. I mean, almost 6 seconds. Just a man on a mission right now.
Just McMahon taking that high side around Josh Cully. So Josh Cully has now been passed by both Chris Simon and Justin McMahon. Go back and take a look at that
Bill Gentry
pass.
coming in hot on Gary Klume there for a second too. Bill Gentry got something left in the tank.
Yeah, we're going back looking at that pass from Justin McMahon. Just kind of out braking, able to hold it, make it stick in that second lane up and drive out very, very well to get around Josh Cully there.
wonder what Justin McMahon's still got in the tank, if he's going to be able to get back up there and get his way into the top 3 before we have any sort of other pit stops. I mean, these guys are going to I have to imagine they're going to have to bring it down. I mean, 90 laps, I don't think they have 90 laps in the gas tank.
I'm not sure either. And if you would think that if they're going to try to beat Jamie Horne tonight here off a pit strategy, you might want to go a little earlier. So I think if they can't make it, you might see them come in the next 5 laps or so.
Gary Clune coming in with a head of steam, trying to get around Bill Gentry right there. He's trying to get up to Josh Cully, get that 5th position away. Just saw Daniel Wilkerson bring it down pit road, and I think it's something pretty similar to what you were describing earlier on. He has gotten himself up to the 14th spot there and has brought it down pit road.
Very strategic start and park for the lead admin there. I mean, if you're going to start and park it, or at least run a little bit of a race, that's the way to do it right there.
100%. Once again, as we approach 25 to go here on lap 172 of 200 here in the North American Specialized 150 at Richmond Raceway. I want to give a big thank you once again to everybody who has joined us tonight. Thank you very much for being here and choosing to spend some of your Thursday evening with us and these drivers. We appreciate it, and I know they appreciate it. It means a lot to us, means a lot to them. So thank you very much to each and every one of you for joining us. Be sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't miss any of the race and action that is going to be coming for the rest of the season. Not just here in our Group 6 Cup Series, but also on our other series that happen throughout the week. And if you feel so led, throw a comment in there, cheer on your driver, give them a little extra motivation for the rest of this race here. We appreciate all the comments we've had so far tonight. And once again, shout out to our sponsors, Group 6, North American Specialized, Shoney's, and Butt Kicker for making this whole thing possible.
We are coming to 25 to go, which means it's time for our still unnamed, what we're going to call it, Turn It Up session. While we sit back and let you just enjoy the better sounds of racing instead of us talking. And we are back. As it stands right now, Jamie Horne still your leader, out to an 8.8 lead right now. Second lead over Andrew St. Cyr, who is up 11 spots tonight, racing for that Beast Mode Performance team. Justin McMahon moved his way up into the 3rd place spot in front of Chris Simon, currently sitting in the 4th place spot. He's down 2 spots for the night. Justin McMahon back where he started. Gary Clune, another BMP guy, up 4 spots. He's going to round out your top 5. Last person on the lead lap, Josh Cully in that 88 machine. Again, did not qualify, able to drive it up to the front, sitting in 6th place. Last car on the lead lap, if a caution does come out, is going to be the lucky dog, Brandon Trush. As of right now, but Zach Miller challenging pretty hard on the bumper. We have Eric Warman sitting in 9th place, and Joshua Hart sitting in 10th place, and that's going to round out your top 10.
Zach Miller's going to war with Brandon Trush right there. He is trying to get back up, get that lucky dog spot just in case something happens. You got to imagine if there was to be a caution, you got to imagine that everybody's just going to bring it down pit road anyways, kind of even this field back up. But I mean, everyone's so spread out at this point unless something
That was close. I'm sorry to cut you off. Brandon Trush gets into the side door of Zach Miller. Almost spins him.
Oh, I just watched that back. What a save by Zach Miller.
Just as you were talking it up, little case of the broadcast curse being sprinkled up here on the front stretch at Richmond.
First half of the season, it was all you with the broadcast curse, and then now it just seems like I can't get away from it.
I have passed that on. I have passed that torch to you, my friend.
Thanks. Is there like a vaccine or something for this? This isn't any fun at all.
Hasn't been approved by the FDA yet.
I'll give him a call. Give him an earful. We are approaching 10 to go here. Still your same top 3 up there with Jamie Horne, Andrew St. Cyr, and Justin McMahon. Justin McMahon been a man on a mission for these past several laps. Had to work his way around the other cars on the lead lap and keep driving his way to the front and make up a ton of time. You might see on the start and finish stats where Justin McMahon may finish in 3rd and start in 3rd. I think it was a pretty average night, but actually, the first caution that came out on lap 1 was Justin McMahon. Lost it a little bit on the inside of the track. Ended up doing a header into the inside wall. Had to have damage repaired. Went laps down. And has been battling his way back all night and is back in the top 3.
Gary
And
Clune.
still remains one of the fastest cars on the track.
Absolutely. He has been driving his way back up to the front. Somebody driving his way up. Gary Clune right now getting around Chris Simon, putting Simon back into the 5th place position. They do have about a 4-second buffer between them and Josh Cully sitting in 6th, but Gary Clune's moving up to 4th place. He's about 3 seconds back from Justin McMahon, a good 14.6 back from your leader.
I mean, what a race. And again, just how the strategy working out is so interesting. We saw people coming down, getting their green flag pit stops. And then between the caution coming out about 80% of the way through those green flag pit stops, all these people getting the wave around, getting some laps back, but not getting all of them. And you end up with a race. I mean, there where you only have 6 cars on the lead lap right now, and only 2 of those are within 10 seconds of our race leader, Jamie Horne. And I mean, above and all else, you really can't say enough about the performance of Jamie Horne here tonight. I mean, wall to wall, qualified, got the pole position. As far as I know, he's led every lap.
I don't think there's been much change from that. But I mean, Jamie Horne just kind of dominating Doghouse Racing League right now, which we haven't seen this guy in a while. Kind of miss seeing him right here, but Jonathan Jennings used to have the same like kind of thing. You see
Always a
passing the torch on, you know.
Yeah, always a threat to win the race, and just runs I mean, for lack of a better term, just a pretty flawless performance. I mean, if you were to go back and just sit your camera on Jamie Horne and watch him this entire race, I mean, I highly doubt you could count on more than one hand the amount of mistakes you could see throughout the course of the race. And I mean, that leads to exactly what you're seeing here. Just an absolutely dominating performance. As we see now, even on the lap 195, so we're 70 laps into this green flag run, still putting time on the other drivers. Andrew St. Coeur, your second place runner right now, just went to over 10 seconds behind. At this point, I think if I can get my math correct here, yeah, Jamie Horne ran a 22.85 that last lap, and Andrew St. Coeur 23.35.
The only person that actually ran a lap that's not, it's the same exact speed. There's two people in the track that ran a.
Oh my God, caution flag.
I don't know. I have Steve Bonomo in the pits right now. Mike Leftwich passing Steve Bonomo. Brandon Trush I have dropping down a little bit. I'm not even sure who that was called on.
I just heard over the radio. Accidental caution.
Is Josh Cully off the track?
I'm listening to the radio right now. Daniel Wilkerson was trying to clear a meatball flag and accidentally threw a caution. They are going to let the race end as is. There was obviously quite a bit of separation between all these drivers. Hearing some joking going on in the comments. Andrew St. Coeur saying, I don't know, I think I could catch him. Justin McMahon saying the same. Brandon Trush saying, man, I needed that 15 laps ago. So one of the mistakes that you can have in iRacing, unfortunate to see, little bit anticlimactic for the end of the race, but still very fitting, and how it was going to finish anyway. So it is going to green, white, checkered finish this thing, but it is not going to change the ending. An absolutely dominating performance by the 98 machine of Jamie Horne. Andrew St. Coeur is going to come home in second place. Justin McMahon going to come home in third. Gary Kloon is going to get fourth. Chris Simon is going to finish fifth. Zachary Miller sixth. Not sure what happened to Josh Cully. Unfortunate to see for a really strong run tonight, but no longer in the session and off the track. Hear people come over the radio. People are getting black flags thrown because their tires are about to fall off of the cars.
What an ending.
What an ending. Things are going to end just as they should. It's a photo finish. as we see these drivers take a casual lap around. Sunday strolling for what has been anything but a Sunday stroll for Mr. Jamie Horne.
Right before that caution, I was looking at it. Gary Clune and Joshua Hart were actually running faster laps than Jamie Horne.
Wow.
I don't think they had enough fast laps to make up the distance between them two, but worth noting, those guys had rocket ships there at the end.
But with that, I believe we have the pace car back out on the track, which is going to signal an end to this race. The race was over anyway, but I think we're just trying to make sure at this point that everybody falls in line, everybody's finish gets recorded correctly.
I can't say anything about messing up stuff. We did a kind of a hosted race the other night where I got to run admin, and I never want to do that again. Not the way I do it, at least. Or I was doing it. I've learned since then there was a better way to do it, but I don't understand how these people drive and run admin at the same time. I gained a ton of respect. I could not do it. I struggled. I wrecked about 2 or 3 times just attempting to do so. I have nothing negative to say ever about anyone running admin and also trying to drive and do a league.
Well, with that, one of the more interesting finishes you will ever see here in the Group 6 Cup Series, here in the Doghouse Racing League, Jamie Horne parks it on the start-finish line. Wall-to-wall dominant victory for him here tonight. B-Mac in the comments, great racing. Congrats to Jamie. Way to go, Andrew. You sure moved on up. And congrats to Justin and Gary. Kathy Trush saying congrats to the number 98. I'm hearing some of these cars drive by on my cameras. I can hear it rattling from the tires that are just falling off of these cars after such a long green flag run. But again, absolutely dominating performance by Jamie Horne. Andrew St. Corbrainer home in second, and Justin McMahon in third. We are going to get your top 3 finishers up into the booth for their interviews here in just one moment.
Yeah, while we're doing that, wait for these guys to get in here. Go ahead and go through the race results for tonight. I know Hunter read out your top 3 there. Finishing 4th is going to be Gary Clune. 5th, Chris Simon. 6th is going to be Zach Miller. Coming in 7th tonight, Joshua Hart. 8th place, Eric Warman. 9th place, Brandon Trush. And then 10th place is going to be Stephen Bonomo. Mike Leftwich is going to finish 11th. Josh Cully, not sure if we had a disconnect there at the very end, finishing 12th. He was running in that 6th place position, I believe. Bill Gentry finishing 13th. Daniel Wilkerson, a modified strategy built starting part tonight. Go out there and get in front of some of these guys that exited a little early. He's going to be finishing 14th place. 15th is Joe McKnight. 16th, Tony Martin. Zach Michael in 17th, and Jason Ross is going to be 18th place tonight. And with that said, we are going to chase down some of these guys really quick, but we will be right back.
Thompson and St. Coeur side by side. Racing it out. Who has the faster car to finish this thing? St. Coeur is going to bring it home in first. What a race at the end of that thing. Caution, caution, caution. Come around the corner. Jamie Horne is going to be your winner here at the Mars Properties 200.
And we are back. I do have your third place finisher coming up here to the booth with us. That's going to be Justin McMahon. Hey, Justin, you got a copy list in the booth?
Yeah.
Well, kind of a weird ending to that race tonight, but you had kind of a weird race yourself. Getting a little loose there at the first part and able to went to the back, all the way back to the front, finishing third place tonight. Tell us about that run.
Yeah, I thought my night was over there right off the bat. Again, would have been 2 races in a row for me that would have ended bad. I don't know. I was trying to wrap the bottom there, and just there's that one spot right off of turn 2 that's, if you don't open the wheel up, I was just talking to Andrew about it, and he said if you don't open the wheel up just enough, the car wants to snap around, and especially on cold tires, and it did right there when I had somebody on the outside and I couldn't catch it. But luckily I didn't really get too much damage from it, and I was able to get it all fixed there, and a couple of the cautions just fell at the right time and destroyed my tires getting back up to the front. But it was able to the setup was decent enough to where I was able to still run guys down and battle back to get back into the top 3. So pretty happy with it. I'm not really going to complain about it. Long race. I'm happy it's over.
Absolutely, man. Well, we're talking about tire wear there a second ago. I know some people were having some issues there under that last caution with having black flags for excessive tire wear. But was there any changes you made during the pit stops there to change that tires or trying to fix some things going on?
No, I honestly didn't touch the setup at all. Because into a run like 10 laps in, it felt pretty decent. I just kind of changed my lineup a little bit. I started to kind of diamond the middle a little bit to try to get the run it down off corner exit, and that seemed to kind of balance it out a little bit. I probably could have made a slight adjustment to maybe tighten it up a little bit. But in the moment I was just couldn't really quite remember what adjustment I needed to make to do that other than tire pressure, and I didn't want to mess with that. So I just kind of made my bed early and said I was just going to run it to the end, and I almost didn't make it there. I had to back out of it at the end there before that last caution came out because of my tires were bad. I got the 2 notifications there from my pit crew telling me to save my tires, so I knew it was going to be close. And then Daniel was trying to clear a meatball flag for somebody and accidentally hit the caution button, but pretty sure we were going to end where we were, minus I don't think it was that Gary Clune was behind me. He might have been catching me there to take third away from me, but other than that, the front 2 were going to finish where they did.
Absolutely, man. We're going to Daytona next week. It's going to be the last race of the regular season. I believe you're sitting 5th in the points right now going to that. What are your thoughts on super speedways and Daytona in general?
Crapshoot, really. And anything can happen, whether you want to try to hang in the back of the pack, you can get caught up in a wreck back there, or if you want to try to run up front, you can always get caught up in a wreck up there. So really, it's roll the dice. Fuel saving is going to be the big thing. So if I can, stay in the pack and stay out of trouble and try to save some fuel, that's going to help for that one. But other than that, if we stay out of trouble, I feel like we can win it. But I guess we won't know until the end, right?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Well, before I let you go, any sponsors or shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, you guys for doing the broadcast. You guys doing a really good job. Daniel and everybody at Doghouse for running the league and doing everything. Those guys do an awesome job every week. And Group 6 for the sponsor on the car and sponsoring the league.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it. Congratulations tonight on a P3 run. Try to move you up some little bit in the points for this playoff starts, and looking forward to seeing you up here again.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
It's going to be Justin McMahon finishing tonight in third place. Needed a good run and ran some bad luck early in the season. Kind of got out of the bad luck mid-season, and then the last race I think didn't end so well, ended a little early, but able to finish off third here tonight after a bad start and pull it all the way back. Had a fast car qualifying P3, finishing P3 tonight, so not a bad night for Justin McMahon. But coming up next, I do have Andrew St. Coeur going to be your second place finisher tonight. If I can pull him up here. Andrew, got a copy of this in the booth?
Gotcha.
Well, hey, man, welcome back. Missed you last week there at Watkins Glen, but it was last week, right? That was last week. I'm losing my mind here for a second, but back here in the second place finish tonight. Kind of a different kind of ending to the end of this race. Give us your thoughts on this race. You had a rocket ship there, the early parts of it, and it kind of seemed to settle down a little bit. Well, tell us about the car and how it's handling.
Yeah, after I botched the qualifying, touched the wall, I had to start near, I don't know, mid-pack or 3/4 of the way back, and I definitely pushed hard early to try to get some track position. I anticipated that we were going to get some cautions, and I just didn't want to be in it. So I was trying to get by the guys that, in case there was some cautions. But by doing that, I obviously hurt myself. I really hurt my tires on that first stint. So I tried to go as long as I could, thinking if I pit it, I didn't know if anybody was going to try the one stop. And I think there were a couple people. I think Jamie definitely had the tires to do it. After talking to him just a moment ago, after that last run, I'm pretty sure he could have made it to 100 laps, no problem. So I was actually kind of hoping that he would, because obviously if he did, I was taking tires at lap 66 or almost 70, I think. I had a good 30 laps where I was going to be faster than him, and hopefully be able to gain back. I was just hoping, that something would work out if it went green, that I would gain track position or something, and then take a short pit again, and then maybe it'll work out. But anyway, that didn't work out, and that's fine. I was fortunate enough to be the wave around after my pit and got back on the lead lap, and then I think everybody else pitted. I think I was on 12, 13 lap tires. They pitted in front of me, so really I had nothing for the leaders on that run. I needed to get a fresh set of tires with the leaders to have any sort of shot. So I was thankful to see that next caution before we had that really long, I think 80 lap run. And I took a lot of, I made quite a swing on it with an adjustment to loosen the car, thinking that because going through the traffic, I really felt the dirty air was affecting, it was just affecting, the way I was able to drive the car, and I was getting tight, and I thought the only chance I'm going to have with the leaders is to loosen it up in the dirty air, and I did, and I was able to stick with Jamie, I think, for. You guys would have a better idea than me. It might have been 20 laps, 15 laps, something like that. And then he just started gapping me. It was like 2/10, 2/10, 2/10. And I'm like, how is he getting this speed? And then I just started getting so crazy loose that I couldn't hang on to it. And, I don't know whether it was the adjustment I made or what, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's you gotta put the time in to get the practice to get better at these tracks too. And, the last, there's been a couple races now that I really haven't had the practice, and not to make excuses, but it does make a big difference. And I really just wasn't hitting my lines right. I was taking shallow entries into one, probably driving in deeper. I was definitely driving in deeper than Jamie. I would gain on him into one. He was lifting earlier. He was really saving his right front more. He just had so much better, racecraft tonight than I did, and hats off to him. He just put on a clinic. So, but anyway, next week we'll come back strong, and I think looking forward to the super speedway, which is always a fun track, and hopefully we can rebound next week.
Absolutely. Well, you guys are always good there. The whole BMP team, good at Daytona and Talladega this year. Both Atlantas, I think the BMP team just kind of showed out. So that's going to be a fun race for you guys. Are you planning on any additional practice or anything? I don't think you guys practiced for Atlanta, did you? You just kind of went out there and did the thing?
About probably a half hour. I think I put up an hour session both weeks beforehand, and it was probably more so to practice some qualifying. I think now, more than ever, qualifying at super speedway means a lot. And I was just saying that to Jamie. Next week, qualifying near the front just means so much, especially if you can get up there with teammates. With the new draft model, being near the back, if you've got 3-4 cars and there's 5 of us, if Adam's able to join next week, right? So if we're all there's 5 of us. If we get together on the bottom, it's going to be really hard to get by us on the high line. You need a train now of cars on the second lane, third lane to be able to do anything with the bottom. Three cars just won't do it. 2-car tandem doesn't exist anymore. So you really need a minimum of 4 cars. So it definitely numbers game for us. We have to play that up as an advantage for us, and we have to take advantage of that. So if we can get all together, and we should do well. But that's typically what we try to work on in practice. Is probably more so than anything is those qualifying runs to try to so we can start up near the front, and then work together at that point. So we're not coming from the back.
Absolutely will. It's going to be a fun one next week at Daytona, last race of the season. Before I let you go, any sponsors or shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, just thank BMP. Thanks the team. Hopefully next week we can get. I know it's been vacation mode, so a lot of people haven't been around, and hopefully we can get everybody back next week. And thank the admins, and congrats to Jamie. And glad to see Daniel back as in the race for a few laps tonight, and race control. That was great to see him back. And thank you guys for the broadcast, and thanks for the viewers. And BMAC, I'm sure, was there tonight. Special thanks to her for watching every week, and thanks again.
Yes, sir. Well, congratulations on P2 tonight, and looking forward to seeing you and the BMP guys up here next week.
Hopefully I'm up here next week.
Yes,
Take care,
sir.
guys.
It's going to be Andrew St. Coeur, your second place finisher here tonight. Still trying to move up in the points to get that first place spot. With one race to go, I think Jamie Horne's got it pretty locked down. He's still probably about 160 some points ahead of Andrew St. Coeur in second place. But with that said, we do have Jamie Horne coming up here to the booth now. Jamie, you got a copy list in the booth?
Yes, sir.
Well, welcome back, man. We kind of made a hint earlier tonight that you were kind of running the Jonathan Jennings of Doghouse Racing League. We haven't seen Jonathan for a while, but it just seems like you're winning it everywhere and every week. Tell us about this run you've been having, the success you've been having here lately.
I was telling Andrew a while ago, I really don't know where it's come from this season. I, I was worried about the tire model whenever this update come out, and I seem to adapt it pretty good to that. I've usually, for the last 2 seasons since I started doing the next gen, I've been, pretty consistent up in the front, but this season I've just, I don't know, good luck. I don't know what to call it, but definitely had a good season for sure so far.
Absolutely. Good run here tonight. You're just kind of pulling away there for a while. It looked like sometimes it would stick with you for a little bit and you would just hit another gear and pull away. Tell us about this tire wear here tonight and how it's affected your car throughout the run.
I was having really good tire wear. I think the difference from what I've seen, just watching the relative, and when anybody was behind me at the restarts and starts, I was driving up much easier going into the corners than everybody else seemed to be from what it looked like to me, and I was letting out a whole lot sooner. And I want to say probably about 20 to 30 lap range, somewhere around there is where I'd noticed that whoever was behind me would start falling off a pretty good bit, and I was still able to keep going. And I didn't do the burnout at the end because I wanted to see what my tires were at the end of the race because I just knew they had to be, shot. So I didn't do the burnout, so I go back and look at that. But they were actually really good, shockingly. So I guess somehow I just did a better job saving tires tonight, I think, than everybody else. But I definitely got a little nervous whenever that last restart and Andrew got up there, and I knew he had to have had a mistake or something in qualifying, and I figured it was going to be um, a challenge at that point, and I was overdriving a little bit, and I finally just had to turn my relative off and quit looking and just focus ahead.
Absolutely, I understand that. But sometimes you get to the point you're driving out your mirror and looking through your relatives too much, but able to pull away pretty easily here tonight. Going to Daytona next week, seems like you got the first place position pretty secured heading into the playoffs after next week. Tell us how this week coming into Daytona is going to look like and what Daytona is going to look like for you.
Thankfully, I got a little bit of buffer in the points because I enjoy the super speedways and I usually pretty good at them, but an incident always finds me somehow, especially at the end of a race. So I don't go into them with any big confidence that I'm gonna come out with anything better than maybe a top 10. And anytime we go to a super speedway with the beast mode team, they definitely have super speedways figured out and work really well together. So that's gonna be the group to beat, and it's be interesting to see if any of us can put something together and do it. Uh, so I'm looking forward to it, but I know my luck, so at least I got a little bit of points buffer if something does go wrong.
Yes, sir. Well, before I let you go, any sponsors or shout outs you would like to give?
Yeah, shout out to our series sponsor, Group 6, Nap Daddy Racing, Shoney's Butt Kicker, SSR Designs. I always forget, or I have been forgetting to thank y'all for the awesome paint on the car. I love the paint. Um, I want to say congrats to Andrew and Justin on their top three, especially Justin after a spin early in the race. That was a great rebound. Um, Thanks to y'all in the broadcast booth for what y'all do. Y'all do a great job every week. Enjoy going back and watching it. Thanks to all my teammates for all the practice. Um, and thanks to my mom at home. Better not forget that one. I'll be in trouble.
Absolutely, yeah, don't forget that one. But anyways, congrats on finishing first place tonight yet again, and I hope to see you back up here next week.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
Yes, sir. You too.
Jamie Horne finishing first place here tonight. Trying to look at the stats now. That's going to make it 8 wins for Jamie Horne this season.
I mean, just absolutely dominating stuff out of Jamie Horne, and humble as always. Coming in there, it's just like, yeah, I don't know what's been going on, man. Just been really good, been figuring things out. And one of the points he made there at the end was really shocking to me, where he was like, I didn't burn out because I wanted to see what my tires were at. And I was shocked at how good they were. When everyone was on the same pit road strategy, more or less, within 2 or 3 laps. And we had people getting donut flat or meatball flags at the end of the race because their tires were so bad. And Jamie Horne's like, yeah, my tires are pretty good. I mean, that's just like kind of the point Andrew was making, just incredible racecraft and just really knowing what you're up against. And really, 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 really great job by him tonight. I mean, dominating performance, wall-to-wall victory, and going into Daytona last race before the playoffs with a full head of steam. And just really great job by him. Andrew St. Clair, consistent as always, finishing second. Justin McMahon, big battle back to finish third. So we're going into playoffs with a lot of different storylines going on, man. It's really, really exciting stuff.
Absolutely. But this is winding up a good night here at Richmond, full of some good racing. I mean, there was actually some really good racing in this race tonight. But before we go and head out, let's pay the bills real quick and talk about our sponsors.
I suppose we should pay the bills. Again, thank you to everyone who joined us here tonight in the Doghouse Racing League Group 6 Cup Series here on Doghouse Racing TV. We appreciate each and every one of you that joined us. BMAC in the comments saying, great broadcasting, guys. That means a lot. Thank you so much. Be sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the action. And we appreciate everyone who left all the comments to cheer on their drivers. But once again, this is the Group 6 Cup Series. Group 6 is a leading creative agency, and they are passionate about crafting cutting-edge websites, developing dynamic web solutions, and providing top-tier managed hosting services. Their mission is to help businesses of all sizes enhance their online presence. Be sure to explore their wide range of services at group6inc.com and see how they can drive your digital success. Special thanks once again to Group 6 for being our series sponsor this year. This was the North American Specialized 150, so special shout out to North American Specialized for being our race sponsor tonight. North American Specialized is your one-stop shop for all of your freight movement needs. They're an asset-based brokerage with locations in Warren, Michigan and Laredo, Texas, ready to move your freight big or small. From dry vans to sprinter vans and even double drop Conestogas, you name it, they move it, backed by experience, equipment, and excellence. When it comes to freight, North American Specialized delivers. Visit their website today at www.naslcorp.com. Again, special shout out to North American Specialized for being our race sponsor tonight. We're also very proud over here at the Doghouse Racing League and the Group 6 Cup Series to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Stop by one of their West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar and take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. We are also very proud at the Doghouse Racing League to be sponsored by Butt Kicker. Thank you to Butt Kicker for being a longtime friend and supporter of the Doghouse Racing League and the Group 6 Cup Series. If you want to take your racing sim experience to the next level, go pick yourself up something from the best name in racing haptics at Butt Kicker. Check out their website at thebuttkicker.com and pick yourself up something today, and you will not be sorry that you did it. Thank you to Butt Kicker for being a longtime sponsor here at the Doghouse Racing League Group 6 Cup Series. And our shameless self-plug that we get to do every one of these broadcasts. Again, myself and John make up a business called Nap Daddy Racing. We are not just up here in the booth. We also try to be your iRacing one-stop shop. We started as an iRacing design shop back in 2024. Try to be your kind of place to go for everything iRacing. Be sure to check out our website, napdaddyracing.com, KNAPPDADDYRACING. For all of your custom design template or logo needs, be sure to grab some of the free content that is available on the website as well. Even if you're not into iRacing, you can grab yourself a t-shirt or a hat. Help support the boys. We appreciate it. You can check us out here on Doghouse Racing TV every single Thursday night on our own channel, coming up on Monday nights, and live on TikTok as often as we can. And once again, cannot emphasize enough how proud we are to be a part of the Doghouse Racing League and the Group 6 Cup Series. Thank you. I tried. I've been Hunter. Yeah, my name's Hunter. Take care, everybody.